So, Biden has released his $1.9 trillion COVID relief plan. There's some contention on the left with this plan, and I'll tell you why on today's episode of My Political Mind. Let's hit that intro. Let's go. Let's do it. All right. Okay, let's get into it. Guys, why must we argue about everything? When I say we, I mean those of us on the left that just can never be satisfied. Unless they get exactly what they want, they can't be satisfied. I understand to a point. What I do not understand is people being upset about the direct payments part of Joe Biden's COVID relief plan. The issue, the contention that I mentioned before the intro is that people misunderstood, because they did, that it was a misunderstanding, and it wasn't through lack of communication, it was through lack of understanding. And I can prove that. Every single article that you look up about the payments and what they were going to be, even prior to the Senate race in Georgia, they all said that Joe Biden, his first plan, was going to be an extension of the $600 to bring us a total of $2,000. That's just the facts. That's just the truth. You can look it up yourself, or I can look it up here. Let's take a look at this Newsweek article. Starting off, those hoping for another stimulus check may be in luck because President-elect Joe Biden plans on pushing Congress to provide $1,400 direct payments, according to a senior administration official. Biden's unveiling of his proposal, by the way, this was released on Thursday. Biden's unveiling of his proposal for a relief package intended to pump more than $1.9 trillion into an economy still struggling during the coronavirus pandemic. The president-elect campaigned hard on his ability to be a leader during the pandemic, and with the Democrats in control of the House, Senate, and White House, he faces pressure to deliver on the promises he made as a candidate. Included in the package is financial aid for minority communities, increased vaccine distribution, funding to help reopen schools, and another round of direct payments. Biden's announcement of the $1,400 stimulus checks may leave some wondering, what happened to the $2,000 payment you were promoting back in December? Despite support from Biden Democrats, President Donald Trump, and some Republicans for $2,000 payments, legislators were only able to pass a relief package in December that included just $600 payments. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell shot down a Democrat-led attempt in the House to pass a separate bill increasing the payments to $2,000, prompting the Treasury Department to start sending out these $600 payments. Now that there's a new Congress, legislators can't simply pass a bill to increase the $600 payments. They must pass entirely new legislation. A bill for a third round of payments worth $1,400 would bring the total to $2,000 when factoring in the payments that went out in December. It may be easier said than done, though, and Biden is expected to face Republican opposition to larger payments when he tries to get his own package passed. Passing a package in the House shouldn't be a problem for the new president, but Democrats don't have enough of a majority in the Senate to write off Republicans. I don't understand how that's the case. They have +1. So, with Senator Chuck Schumer as majority leader, Democrats will be in a position to bring a stimulus bill to the floor for a vote. But with the chamber split 50-50, they may need at least 10 Republicans to sign on to the measure to avoid a filibuster. The filibuster, that's why. I gotcha. Republicans may not be the only people Biden has to convince of his plan either, as Senator Joe Manchin, go figure, who would have seen that coming, from West Virginia, seems to be on the fence. He told the Washington Post last week he would, quote, absolutely not, end quote, support $2,000 checks, but then tempered his position during a CNN interview 2 days later. Asked if he would support another round of checks, Manchin told CNN's Jake Tapper it wasn't a yes or, quote, yes or no question, end quote. Quote, how is the money that we invest now going to help us best to get jobs back and get people employed? And I can't tell you that sending another check out is going to do that to a person that's already got a check, the senator said. 10 months into the pandemic, America continues to lead the world in both virus cases and deaths. More than 23 million cases have been identified in the United States, and more than 384,000 people have died. Remember, this is as of Thursday. We might be close to passing 400,000. It hasn't even been a year. 384,000 people have died, according to a Johns Hopkins University tracker. Along with the significant loss of life, the economic fallout from the pandemic has devastated many people nationwide. Over the past week, unemployment rose to 965,000, the highest it's been since late August. As of October 8th, 8 million people slipped into poverty during the pandemic, according to a Columbia University study, and data from Yelp shows that 60% of businesses that closed are expected to never reopen. Okay, so oh man, I'm very glad that I turned the song down. Okay, so I think people need to remember the predicament that we are all in, that we have all faced for the past year, or at least it's been like 9 months since a state of emergency, a national state of emergency was called for. A lot has happened in the past 9 months. A lot of failure by government, both local, regional, national. I don't know if there's no such thing as regional government. I don't know. But both locally and nationally, federally. And it's disheartening, to say the least. You know, I try to understand people, but sometimes they make it extremely difficult. And I know that I'm difficult to understand as a person as well, which is why I give others the benefit of the doubt. However, when you become violent, that is where the buck stops with me. You know, people talk about setting term limits for seats in the House, congressional, senatorial. And I just sit here and I see, and it's obvious, congressional seats are up for a vote, or congressional elections are every 2 years. Senatorial elections are every 6 years. People vote for these people. If you don't like them, vote. Organize. Get people together. We live in a republic. Okay? You can vote for these people. Stop blaming it on big money. Be active. Be active in your local government. If you are that upset with government, be active within your government. Don't just vote for the president. Don't just vote down ballot Democrat, down ballot Republican every 4 years. That's not going to solve anything. That's not going to get you the change that you need. Change starts locally. Change starts small. And then it goes up to the top. That's the facts. Stop thinking that the presidency is the end-all be-all. The president has executive power, but that's limited for good reason. Should be probably far more limited, because you start to set a precedent the more presidents are allowed to sign executive orders. So we need to rein that in. But don't leave the first one in the edit. Oh wait, I'm the editor. Anyway, just start paying attention. If you really want change in the world, in your country at least, start locally. Get involved. Organize. Go on Facebook. I'm sure there's a group in there that's like, I don't know, if you live in like Seattle, you can say Seattle politics, Seattle organizers. Just look it up. It's not difficult. And I guarantee you there's a group. Guarantee it. And then you and your group can go out and try and get more supporters of your group, more members of your group, and then you guys can go out and make a difference, make change, create change, make it happen on your own. Don't expect it to come from the top down, because that's what you're doing when you're only voting every 4 years. And I understand, like, the youth of this nation just doesn't vote. Half of us millennials don't vote because, we think that it's, I say we, half of us think that it doesn't matter if we vote, in which it doesn't. Nationally, like, say you're like a lefty and you live in I don't know, Mississippi. Um for the presidential race, do you think your vote's really going to matter in Mississippi? Probably not. But you know where it's going to matter? In your local elections. You can organize there. A lot of small cities get federal funding. The reason that they get that funding is because they go to their local government officials and they say, hey, I will vote for you if you push for this funding from the federal government or the state government. Where you go to the state government and say, hey, we need funding for this from the federal government. Like, not every problem is solved through funding, but funding helps get initiatives going. It doesn't have to be expensive. People just have to work together. We've become much less community based for like the last 50, 60 years. And we're much more like we're much more along the lines of like the nuclear family. It's the end all be all is a nuclear family. And that wasn't pushed until like the 80s or the 90s when you started having like sitcoms with the dumb dad, with the dumb father, dumb husband, and the stay-at-home wife. The dumb husband that goes out, has a regular job at UPS or a nuclear power plant or whatever, and he comes home and he's dumb. And then the stay-at-home mom that's, you know, just your typical woo-woo-woo woman, wife, not woman. Don't. Oh, wait, I can edit this. Good, because that's not what I meant. But anyway, getting back to reality, yeah, I just don't understand. I say that a lot because I just don't. I don't get people. I don't get why people make life harder than it is, than it should be. Go out. There is an election in your locality within the next like 6 months, probably. Like, there's elections all the time. Just get involved. Just get involved. Just vote. Just get involved. If you're that concerned, get involved. Organize. Get people together. And do your thing. Get to work. People, women and men that fought for women's suffrage, people that fought for civil rights, people that fought for workers' rights, the 40-hour work week. You know, people, these things didn't just happen, okay? People weren't just given these things. People had to fight for them. People had to want it. So go out there, make your voices heard. Don't be violent. Just vote. Organize, vote, participate. If you don't participate, you can't complain. That's why I don't complain. Because I don't participate. Mostly. But I'm speaking to the people that actually do participate but continue to complain. People that live in a red state vote red, and when their state screws them, they blame Democrats. It's ridiculous. I don't get it. But one day people will understand. And I'm going to make it a part of my journey to be more active with this show. And because I think it's the right thing to do. But until then, if you liked what you saw tonight or today or this episode, please hit that like button or lightly touch it. Hitting is kind of abusive unless it's kind of like a fight. You're fighting. Fight that like button. You're fighting it. I mean, I don't know. Subscribe to the channel. Ding, ting, bang on that notification bell so that you're notified whenever I drop a video or go live. Thanks for watching today's episode of My Political Mind. Love you guys.